Hey, what's up, truckers? I'm Mike, and this is Christian.
What's going on, guys?
We're gonna talk today about orientations, what to expect, what experience you guys had, what experience we had, and one of the main questions is how long is too long?
That's the ever so question, right?
Yeah. It really depends, I guess.
Yeah, I think. Well, what I've seen is orientations come in all shapes and sizes. Some places are going to be sign and drive. That's not good either. Other places could be. I've seen up to a week. It's been a week long. I mean, you're just sitting in front of somebody doing orientation for a week. What you're talking about, not sure. I mean, I get it. There's some work out there that's very, very delicate. If you're doing tanker perhaps and things of that nature, and you're doing specific training. But again, we're talking dry van here. I've seen up to a week. How long have you seen?
I actually attended one that was the longest one, probably like 3 days split through the week, like every other day. I really hated that because by the time I was at that orientation as a driver,
Yeah.
I already had like, I don't know, 5-6 years of, safe driving OTR experience. And to me, it was kind of waste of money because as a professional driver, I'm actually looking for the orientation that will help me be successful in this company. I don't need to go over 10-hour rule, 11-hour rule. I'm saying 10-hour rule because back then it was 10-hour rule.
So something stayed in there. See, look at that.
Yeah. So 11-hour rule, 14-hour rule, 8-hour rule. If I've done it all the time, like why?
Right.
Why?
So again, we're specifically talking about, let's say, our standards of 2-year experience, because obviously an orientation has to be different for somebody just fresh out of school. I mean, literally no experience. There's a lot more to observe. There's experiences that have to happen. So that has to be tailored a little bit different, right?
I agree because I don't think back in the day when I was in school, nobody taught us about the hours of service. So I would assume the schools are same up until now. I don't think that's one of the topics.
Right.
And I think, the company wants.
Well, I would say they may even be teaching you the basics, but not how to manage your time associated like with the load, how to be successful financially, how to connect the two. I mean, you learn the basic rules, but it's not real life practice. It's just theory at that point.
Okay, so basically, let's not solve other people problems. Let's leave it for Swift and Prime.
Yeah.
And let's go to hardcore professional owner-operator trucking. What the owner-operator with plenty verified experience should expect at orientation? What do you think is fair? What do you think is effective?
I think the topics that should be covered are pretty much going to be what makes you successful in that company, meaning their processes, right? Like the billing, how to send in the paperwork. Every company does it a little bit different. So learning what that process is for that, learning the process for getting the lumpers, hours of service. I mean, you should be asked and to confirm that you do know how to manage those hours. Either A, you come to the table and show them your previous logs, and they can take a look at that, and that's fair. Or even a little crash course on testing your knowledge about hours of service presently, PCing. Different companies do different amounts of miles that you can do in a day, so learning that part of it. Also with the dispatch process and operations. How do you verify seals, bill of ladings, talking with the dispatcher. The meat and potatoes of what will make you successful, I think, is very important, because everything else, do you really need to sit there for 2 days about a Smith system? Remember, these guys are coming here with 2 years experience. So do I really need to talk about what a half-hour break is, an 11, a 14? Talk about it, maybe skim on it a little bit in dialogue about everything else, but
just to make sure the individual knows about it and is aware of that.
Yes, but other than that, I mean, everything else, remember, we've done a lot of homework, and the company kind of already knows who you are, because there's things that happen behind the scenes, PSP reporting, CDLS, you got the MVR, you have employment verifications that are coming back. So all of that also speaks volumes about the person in there, because it's going to talk about facts. It's going to talk about safety behavior that person's done. So, I mean, you can even tailor that, right? Because a guy might be pretty good at hours of service. And, I mean, do you have to really spend 2 hours on that if the guy is pretty...
No, absolutely. So I think any owner-operator with experience, who's been around, who's done OTR, in general, once we pass just like the basic rules just to kind of see if we know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then if we've been using anything different than what we use in terms of ELD, besides that, curve to learn the new system, which is again we all very, very similar. Everything else is kind of waste of time.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have the other companies that'll, give you your written exam again. And you're talking about something that you did how long ago and is irrelevant to your job performance at that company. So.
And again, as a driver myself, man, one of those exams, even here, I took an exam here a couple of times back in the day.
We don't want to talk about what he scored.
Dude, I know how to drive. I know how to drive. I probably have 1.5 million miles, safe miles under my belt, and dude, that exam was just out of this world. It was just something else. It was it was not reality-based thing. It was some kind of DOT show-off thing.
Yeah, and so there you go.
All right, so that said, what's too long? And what should be discussed?
Right. Well, we kind of said what should be discussed, right? The processes of what to be successful there, what they expect of you, and issues that that you may come up with, like breakdowns. How are they handled, right? The operation, true stuff, right? Not the fluff. I think for an experienced owner operator, no more than 1 day, a full day. That's about it. You're on the load the next day. If somebody is kind of new to maybe using the Keep Trucking or the hours of service and they kind of struggled from that, because a guy can have some experience that came from a local running very easy logs, time record logs, going 2 hours of service. Maybe that guy a day and a half because you want to test drive as far as the actual hours of service, how to put it off duty, this, that, sleeper, and how to take advantage of properly managing your logs. Probably more of that. Somebody like that, about a day and a half. But more than that, I don't know. My opinion, a little bit excessive.
I agree. I had my wake-up call back in the day when we had 2-day orientation. And I know we've been going back and forth on that issue, how to make it effective more than anything else. To cut all the fluff out of it, all the empty words, all the section 308.67 says something that you can't even understand. And why does it even matter? But what is being effective? And one day after long orientation, I'm driving home and I'm talking to one of my buddies that we've been trucking a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sharing my experience at that orientation here. And I'm like, man, it was a day 2. We're probably gonna have this guy for day 3. That was a slow guy too, but and then he's like, what the hell are you guys doing there for that long? And I forgot myself that, damn, it's really too long, because now you have this high caliber driver sitting with you for 3 freaking days. I mean, it's annoying at best.
Yeah, because I think it's more effective actually. So if you identified, let's say the guy's having trouble with the hours of service, get him out. You can only retain so much information, so you can only do so much. And so you identify the issue, let your dispatcher know this guy is going to need a little bit more love or TLC on the hours of service. Watch it, and have safety keep an eye on it, and kind of call them and walk them through while practicing, because it's easier to learn while you're working. And even if you had to, lead the horse to water, and hey, you're going to drive this much today, stop here, and eventually it's going to sink in, and then that's it. But it's easier to do it that way than to just sit there for 5 days and pretend it's going to be okay, and then not.
I think the bottom line of the orientation is not to teach you how to do how to drive a truck. It's not to teach you the FMCSA regulations, because as a professional driver you already know that.
Yeah, it's not to prove to each other how much we know.
Yes, I think, and it's very important for you guys who are watching, orientation is a perfect time to ask the questions, to get the answers, because orientation, at least the way we do it here, I believe we do tailor it to whatever we see this driver needs to be successful in this environment.
Yeah.
So if a driver has those questions, Let's answer those questions. By the way, at no point during the orientation, your goal as a driver is not to complete the orientation. Your goal as a driver, just like for us, to learn how things function here, listen to what people across the table have to say, and also make a decision. It's okay to walk out of orientation.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, guys, as owner operators, that's business to business. Nothing is personal. As it's okay to walk out, it's okay if a company says, hey, we're going to respect your business parameters and this is as far as we go. Because again, it's that time, like Mike's saying, it's that time to get to know each other a little bit better. And it's, you do have to give that learning curve, I will say that. But at the same time, you're going to get to know, ask to speak to the dispatcher. That's important too, like to meet the person you're going to be working with. And hey, how do you send the work over? Is it email, text? You prefer text? Then you let them know. Can they accommodate that? Can they not? Because there's some things that you're willing to do and bend and give a little bit, but there's maybe
some others not.
Yeah, some others not. So.
And I agree. And if it doesn't sound what you're looking for, hey, maybe it's okay. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't think this is for me, and walk away. Because I believe the problems start once somebody finishes the orientation, gets the flowers, the diploma. I'm just kidding about flowers and diploma. and he hits the road unprepared how to be successful in the company of their choice. And this is the biggest failure of orientation.
Yeah.
So I think, how long is too long? Let us know in the comments below. We believe, again, we kind of dealing with, I would say, a little higher tier of drivers to begin with, due to experience requirements and people having their own truck. And for us as well, we only accomplish our goal is if we prepare you to be successful in our environment.
Right. And I'm also curious to see, if you guys put in the comments, what is the longest orientation someone has been in?
All right. Make sure you post it down.
Until then, drive safe.
See you later.